Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Rogg and I'm a part of Canada International Student Magazine, where today we'll be interviewing Travis Bryerton for RCA. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. It's my privilege to have this chance to represent the school and help these families know something more about Regent Christian Academy.
Oh, I'm very glad to hear that. Thank you very much for having us.
You're very welcome.
So we wanted to start off by asking you if you could please tell us about your school, RCA.
Yeah, so Regent Christian Academy began almost 45 years ago now, and it was founded by families that desired to have a Christian school available to their children in the Lower Mainland here in British Columbia. And it has continued to operate as a ministry of the church, previously Bible Fellowship, now known as Horizon Church, as a partner organization to them, obviously to make Christ known and to help their kids to know Christ and live for Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior.
Of course, of course. Sounds amazing. Thank you very much. So the next question would be, what does an average day of an RCA student look like?
Yeah, well, this varies greatly by age, but as we talk about specifically probably students in the high school, we'll say grades 8 to 12, typically that would involve arriving on campus, start fairly early, around 8:30, be in their classrooms, have a homeroom time with their teacher, probably a brief devotional message and prayer, and then they launch into the day. So those students classes are usually 45 to 60 minutes, depending on the age of the student, and they're going to have around 5 different subjects within a day. And then included in that would be a recess break, a lunch break as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you mentioned 5 classes. Would that range from academic classes such as science, mathematics?
It'll be a full range of core courses in the humanities as well as in mathematics, to electives as well, where they may be participating in infotech, maybe the fine arts, visual arts, performing arts, athletics, all kinds of options for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I love the diversity of that. That sounds very good.
Yeah.
So the next question, how does the diversity of student ratio between international students and local students look?
Yeah, so overarchingly, it's important to note for families that would consider sending their kids to Regent Christian Academy, we live in an area that is very culturally diverse here in Surrey, British Columbia. It's already a very diverse population. Then you add the international students to that mix, and they represent at Regent Christian Academy probably 5-6% in those grade 8 to 12 ranges. So that's typically around age 13 to 17. Those students make up probably 5-6% of our total population. And then we have students coming from Korea, Japanese, Japan, China, even South America.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay. I'm glad to hear that. That's amazing how your school opens up to the large diversity. It's very rewarding.
Well, we feel that's important for our local students to be exposed to other cultures.
Of course, of course. So next question would be, do you need to be Catholic to be admitted into this school?
No, absolutely not. You do not need to be of a particular religious persuasion. If you're an international student, it's open to all. We simply use Amerigo as our vetting company. So they will interview the families, see what the motivation is of the parents for why they would like to send them here. And then we work with Amerigo to make sure that the student is performing at a level academically, and then also behaviorally, socially, that we think that it's a good fit for one another, and then we would accept the families. For the local families, we have there's a protocol that is followed for those families where the Christian faith is more important, not so with the international families. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So why should international students pick RCA in your opinion?
Oh, yeah, great question. If I'm an international parent considering where to send my student for a high school experience in Canada, Regent Christian Academy is a great place to come because of the smaller class sizes, the warm community, the exposure to many people groups, and a chance for them to explore who they are and how they live and for whom do they live. We, again, obviously being a Christian school, we center who we are about recognizing that you're created by God for God, which means that you actually learn to take your eyes off of yourself and learn how good and right it is to serve others before yourself. So the Bible would actually say is better to give than to receive. And indeed, the way that's lived out at Regent Christian Academy, students experience the joy of making others happy by the way that they're looking to their needs before their own. So I think those are great reasons if you're a family considering where to send your student. Who as a parent would not want to see that their children learn to think of others first, because those are people that others want to be around. Yeah.
Of course, I love that answer, especially making students happy, thinking of others. I think that the world needs that nowadays. It's very important.
Very much so.
It's a very important skill.
Yeah.
So the next question, are there any tutoring centers or writing centers that can help them with studies and classes?
Yeah, so we do inclusion for those students, so they're going to participate in all the same courses as their peers. But if they're needing extra help, then there is help provided after school. And then even within school, we would be able to identify a challenge and help them get the support that they need. Amerigo does testing prior to admission, and then we'll also continue to do assessment during their stay to see how well they're performing and where they're needing help. So that's part of our commitment to the families, that we stay on top of the challenges that the student is having and work with Amerigo and with families for how do we get them the help that they need.
Of course, of course. Yeah. Overall, that sounds really good that students are getting the help that they need. Of course, school can be very challenging at times, but of course, if there are teachers around to help, that's perfect. Yes.
Yeah, I've lived overseas for a year. I know the challenge of it not being my native tongue. And so students, to feel like they can actually grow and develop here, they need to feel like they have the support that they need. So teachers will recognize it, and then outsource where they need to make sure that the students get the help that they need. And then they have a sense of belonging. Then they can thrive.
Yeah. Of course. I love when you said thrive, of course. And I'm sure that'll add a lot more ease to their education, which is definitely going to be an advantage for them, for sure. So, could you please tell us more about the homestay program for international students?
Yeah, so Regent Christian Academy has had international students for a better part of 20 years now, and in that time has developed association with both alumni families, so that means families that had their students attending here that still want to help out Regent Christian Academy, and so they volunteer to serve as homestay opportunities. In addition to that, then we have also needed to branch out beyond those families to find out who else has homestay opportunities. So most of the homestay families that we work with are already known to Regent Christian Academy. If we have to add a family, then the assurance to you, parents, is that we will make sure that they have a criminal record check done and completed before we would ever put your children in their homes.
Of course. Sounds very necessary for sure. Yes. After graduating from RCA, would you be able to tell us what is normally the accepted rates for students getting into a university? Yeah,
so important to know first on the front end that we have very few students that wouldn't be able to graduate. We work with them closely during the graduation program, which in British Columbia is grades 10, 11, and 12. We work closely with them to see that they're meeting their requirements. Upon graduating, if they should decide to go on to university, we're seeing anywhere from year to year, it varies a little because we have a small graduating class, usually in the neighborhood of 48 to 55 students. But of those that choose to go on to university, 95 to 99% of them are getting into the universities that they're desiring to go to. Yeah.
Well, it's great to hear, of course. Getting into university is super important, and seeing that high rate over there, very good, very good. For the next question, what are the admission requirements for international students, ranging from interviews, IELTS, or other English tests?
Yeah, so we do the TOEFL test as well as the IELTS, which is again supported by Amerigo, and Amerigo will do additional assessments as necessary. So their best option to get into Regent Christian Academy, because Amerigo is our company that we work with to bring grade 8 to 12 students to Regent Christian Academy, their best option is to just go to Amerigo and say, we're interested in Regent Christian Academy. Can you please guide and direct us through this process?
Is there any advice for students who want to start in RCA?
Yeah, I would say probably the best advice is, if you qualify to come here and you know you're coming, is be yourself, because that's who we want, so that other students can get to know you and teachers can get to know you for who you are, not who you're trying to be. That would be a hard way to live for whatever period you're going to be here, whether it's a year or 2 years or 3 years, that you're trying to be something you're not. We believe by faith God created everybody. And in fact, it says in the Bible, he created them in his image. Male and female, he created them. So we're simply saying to the students that come here at Regent Christian Academy, be who he made you to be. Don't try to be something else. And what you have to offer is unique. There's nobody else like you. So we hope that you can feel at ease, relax, come and just be yourself. We all have great attributes of strength and probably some things of weakness. And I think everybody here, teacher and staff, acknowledge that and respect that. They're okay with it. We need each other. We were never meant to be in isolation. So come and enjoy being part of a warm community where you can grow into who you're supposed to be.
Wow. That's a very genuine answer, of course, too. Just sounding lots of students, getting that sense of belonging and wanting to be themselves. It's a great way to make them grow as people, of course.
Yeah, I don't think it's what they hear in the culture right now. What they're getting through social media is, this is what you need to be accepted and loved. And I think they would hear a very different message here.
Of course, of course. Thank you very much for answering these questions with us. We really appreciate your time.
You're very welcome, Jennifer. It's been my pleasure. And to you families that are watching this video, I hope that you would consider Regent Christian Academy for your child's education moving forward. If you have interest in us, of course, go to our website, Regent Christian Academy. That is regent.bc.ca. But of course, you can also reach out to Amerigo, and they'll guide and direct you to how you make application to come to Regent Christian Academy. All the best to you, and we hope to see you in the future.
Of course, of course. And if you have any other additional questions, feel free to reach out to us, Canada International Student Magazine. You can always contact us through our website or through our social media pages such as Facebook, Instagram, and much more. We are very happy to help you with any sort of questions that you may have. Thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe, and we will see you next time.